Rain hammered against the windows of Beverly Hills like the city itself was weeping. The kind of November storm that turns Los Angeles into something unfamiliar, gray, cold, honest. Ethan Cole sat in the back of his Rolls-Royce, watching water stream down the bulletproof windows. At 32, with $3 billion in assets under management, a mansion in Bel Air, and every material success imaginable, he was profoundly, achingly alone. The fundraiser at the Getty had been exactly what he'd expected, networking disguised as philanthropy. Senators, tech moguls, actresses in gowns worth more than most people's annual salary. He'd given his speech, shaken the right hands, smiled for cameras. Victoria Ashford, daughter of a real estate magnate, had made it clear she was interested. But when she'd invited him to her penthouse, Ethan had felt nothing. Just hollow awareness that he could say yes, and by morning feel even emptier. "We're here, Mr. Cole," Marcus, his driver, announced. Ethan pushed open the door before the umbrella arrived, letting rain soak through his $3,000 suit. He didn't care. He walked through the deluge, grateful for physical sensation, proof he could still feel something. The mansion rose before him, 15,000 square feet of glass and steel. 7 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, a home theater, a wine cellar, and a silence that felt oppressive. He dropped his briefcase, loosened his tie, and climbed the curved staircase. Upstairs, still foggy from wine, he turned left instead of right. His hand found a doorknob at the end of the hall. He walked in, closed the door, and froze. This wasn't his room. The space was smaller, warmer, smelling of lavender and clean cotton. A modest bed with a colorful quilt. A small desk cluttered with papers. A fan humming in the corner. And in front of an oval mirror, sitting on the floor, was a woman. She wore one of his white dress shirts like an oversized nightgown. Her skin was a rich, warm brown, luminous even in dim light. Natural hair pulled back in a loose bun, several coils escaping. In her hands, a crumpled piece of paper. Her eyes were swollen from crying. When she heard the door, her head snapped up, horror replacing sadness. "Mr. Cole," she scrambled to her feet. "I'm so sorry. I didn't think you'd be back so early." "No." Ethan raised his hand. "I'm sorry. Wrong door." He should have left. But he didn't. Instead, he looked at her, really looked, for the first time since she'd started working for him 6 months ago. Amora Bennett, his housekeeper. Someone who'd existed at the periphery of his awareness, cleaning his spaces, organizing his life, invisible. Until now. She was beautiful, not in the polished way of women at tonight's fundraiser, but in a way that felt real, unguarded. Mid-20s, with high cheekbones and eyes that, even swollen from crying, held intelligence and depth. "Are you okay?" The question surprised him as much as her. Amora wiped her face with the sleeve, embarrassed. "I'm fine. I just had a bad day." Ethan spotted a wooden chair by her desk and sat down. The silence between them felt strange, not employer and employee, but two humans accidentally sharing something real. "What's that?" He pointed to the crumpled paper. She hesitated, then handed it to him. An eviction notice. 3 months of back rent totaling $4,200. Legal threats. A deadline, 10 days. Something cold settled in Ethan's stomach. $4,000, less than his watch. For Amora, insurmountable. "Why didn't you tell me?" Her spine straightened, pride flashing despite tears. "Because it's not your problem, Mr. Cole. I didn't come here looking for charity. I just need a few more days." "How did it get this bad?" She looked away, jaw clenched. Finally, she sank back to the floor. 2 years ago, my father had a massive stroke. I was at UCLA, junior year, architecture major. Full scholarship for a project on affordable housing design. There was talk of studying abroad in Copenhagen. She paused. Then everything stopped. My brothers couldn't help. My mom couldn't work and care for Dad alone. Someone had to step up. "So you did," Ethan said quietly. "I took leave, thought it would be temporary. But Dad's recovery was slow. Medical bills piled up. I used my savings, took a loan, then dropped out completely. My scholarship, gone. Mrs. Chen, your property manager, is a family friend. She told me you needed household staff. But the debts didn't get smaller. No, Dad needs expensive medication. Mom has no insurance. I'm paying for their apartment and mine, sending money for medications and groceries. Then my car broke down, $1,500 for a new transmission. I chose the car over rent because I can't get to work without it." She looked up at him, wounded dignity in her eyes. So that's how a girl with a UCLA scholarship ended up wearing your old shirt at midnight, crying over an eviction notice. Life doesn't go the way you plan it. Not for people like me. Ethan felt something crack open in his chest. Recognition. Shame at his own blindness. What if you went back to architecture? He asked. I can't. No time, no money, no connections. What about that project you mentioned? The affordable housing one. Why? Because I invest in projects. Yours sounds better than most pitches I hear. He leaned forward. Show me your work. If it's as good as you say, I'll help you get back to school. Not as charity, as an investment in talent. Amora stared at him. Why would you do that? Because I'm tired of investing in nothing that matters. Tonight, at that fundraiser, I realized I have no idea what any of it's for. He met her eyes. Then I walked into the wrong room and found someone who gave up dreams to take care of family, who's working 3 jobs, who had a vision for making the world better. That feels worth investing in. You're either very drunk or very lonely. Maybe both. Does that change the offer? Long silence. Finally, okay. But not as charity. I'm not broken. I know. I can see that. Are you hungry? She asked suddenly. What? I always get hungry when I cry. They went downstairs. In the kitchen, under warm lights, they heated instant ramen and made buttered toast. They sat at the island, rain hammering outside, eating in comfortable silence. This is the best meal I've had in months, Ethan said. Amora smiled. That's sad on multiple levels. After she left for bed, Ethan stood alone in his kitchen. He felt something he hadn't felt in years, anticipation. Not for a deal closing, but for seeing someone's work, for doing something that actually mattered. For the first time in years, he fell asleep feeling like there was something worth waking up for. By Tuesday, Ethan had secured Amora an interview at Inspire Urban Design for the following Monday. When he told her, she went pale. That's less than a week. My portfolio is 2 years old. So update it. Take the rest of the week off from housework. With pay. She looked at him, emotions warring. Finally, she nodded. Thank you. The next 5 days were chaos. Amora disappeared into her room for hours. Ethan bought her the software subscriptions she needed. Jennifer Wu, a former classmate, came over to help. They worked in Ethan's office, refining designs, improving visualizations. On Friday evening, Ethan brought them Italian food. When he saw the 3D rendering of Amora's project, a thoughtfully designed public park integrated into low-income housing, he was genuinely impressed. This is incredible, he said. You think so? I know so. This is better than most projects from established firms. By Sunday night, Amora was ready. Monday morning, she left early for the interview. Ethan tried to work but checked his phone constantly. At 3:30 p.m., she texted, just finished, heading back. At 5 p.m., she walked through the door, expression unreadable. Well? Ethan asked. Her face broke into the widest smile. I got it. Paid internship, 6 months, real projects. Ethan, I got it. Before thinking, he crossed the distance and hugged her. She hugged back, trembling with excitement. The director said my thesis was one of the most thoughtful approaches she'd seen in years. They want me to work on a park rehabilitation in South LA Lincoln Community Park, where I grew up. That's amazing. Which means I need to give notice. As your housekeeper. Consider it given. On her last day, Ethan left an envelope with a check, covering her back rent and her parents' medical expenses. When she found it, she came to his office, tears in her eyes. This is too much. It's an investment. Consider it a grant from the Cole Foundation. You don't have a foundation. I'm starting one. She moved toward the door, then paused. Ethan, would you want to get dinner sometime? Not as employer and employee. Just as friends. I'd like that, Ethan said. Amora's first weeks at Inspire were intense. Lincoln Community Park was neglected, broken equipment, graffiti, condemned bathrooms. Her supervisor, Marcus Chen, told her the budget was only $200,000. You'll need to be creative, he said. What about community input? Amora asked. We don't have time. Then we make time. If we design something the community doesn't want, we're creating another space they'll ignore. Marcus smiled. All right, Bennett. Show me. Amora spent 2 weeks at the park, interviewing residents. Raymond, who swept the sidewalk daily. Maria, who ran a food stand. Young mothers. Teenagers. She collected every complaint, every suggestion, every dream. At night, she translated conversations into design sketches, working from her small Inglewood apartment. One evening, Ethan called. They talked for an hour, about the pack, about his decision to restructure his fund, about life. When they hung up, Amara realized she was smiling. She looked forward to his calls more than she should. 3 weeks in, Amara organized a community meeting. 30 people showed up. She presented her vision: reimagined zones, community garden, covered gathering areas, splash pad, new bathrooms. But she'd incorporated specific suggestions: shade structures positioned per Maria's input, basketball court lighting the teenagers requested, benches near the playground from Raymond's idea. The colors, Maria said. You made it bright. You said everything was gray and brown. The neighborhood deserves better. Raymond stood up. I've lived here 40 years. Seen a lot of promises. But this young lady's been here every day, actually listening. I think we should give her a chance. The room shifted. By the end, Amara had volunteers for cleanup day and commitment to city council advocacy. Marcus was impressed. You built grassroots support. That's rare. Keep doing what you're doing. Melissa Torres, the firm director, promoted her. After your internship, I want to hire you full-time as associate designer. You'd lead your own projects. That evening, Amara called Ethan first. I got promoted. We should celebrate. Dinner Friday. She hesitated. This felt different, but she wanted to see him. Okay. The restaurant was intimate, exposed brick, dim lighting. Ethan looked different, relaxed in jeans and a gray sweater instead of tailored suits. You look beautiful, he said when she arrived in a navy wrap dress. They talked about the park, about Ethan restructuring his fund to focus on genuine impact. You inspired it, he said. That night made me realize I'd been sleepwalking through life. The weight of his words hung between them. Ethan, you scare me, Amara said. I scare you. When I'm with you, I feel hope, joy, the possibility of having more than just surviving. That's terrifying because I've kept myself small for so long. And you come from a different world. There's always this question of whether what I feel is real or just gratitude. It's real, Ethan said quietly. I lie awake thinking about you. You're the first person I want to tell when good things happen. I'm not looking for someone to save. When I'm with you, I feel like I found what I didn't know I was searching for. This is a really bad idea. Probably. But I don't want to stay just friends. Neither do I. They sat, hands touching across the table. We take it slow, Ethan said. We keep talking, being honest. If this feels wrong, we stop. Slow, Amara repeated. I can do slow. But both knew what they felt was anything but slow. Over weeks, they fell into a pattern: dinner twice a week, Saturday coffee at an Echo Park place with excellent pastries and terrible coffee that somehow made it perfect. The park project moved forward. Construction began. Amara worked 12-hour days, fighting for every budget item, making painful but necessary compromises. One Saturday morning in March, Amara's phone rang. She went pale. It's my mom. She answered. Mama, what's wrong? Ethan watched her face cycle through shock and fear. Okay, I'm coming. She hung up, hands shaking. My dad. Another stroke. Massive. They don't know if he'll make it. They drove to the hospital. Amara's mother was in ICU waiting, a small woman with her daughter's eyes and 20 years of hard life written across her face. Mama, Amara said, and they embraced. Mrs. Bennett looked at Ethan. Thank you for bringing her. The doctors came with grim updates. Mr. Bennett was unconscious, on life support. The next 48 hours were critical. Ethan stayed. He brought coffee, food they didn't eat, sat quietly during tears and prayers. At midnight, they were allowed to visit. Amara looked at Ethan. Come with me. Mr. Bennett looked diminished by tubes and machines. Amara held his hand. Hi, Daddy. I'm here. Ethan stood back, but Amara pulled him forward. Daddy, this is Ethan. He's important to me. Only monitors responded, steady beeps and mechanical breathing. In the hallway, Amara broke down. Ethan held her while she sobbed. I can't lose him. Not when I'm finally getting my life back. Over 3 days, Mr. Bennett's condition didn't improve. Doctors talked about quality of life and difficult decisions. Amara stopped going to work. On the 3rd day, Ethan found her alone in the hospital chapel. I've been thinking about us, she said. Ethan's stomach dropped. If my dad dies, I'm going to break completely. I don't want to put that on you. You should walk away. No. No. I'm not walking away. You think I need you to be perfect all the time. That's not what love is. The word hung between them, spoken for the first time. Love. Amora whispered. Yes. I love you, Amora. Not the version with everything figured out. All of you. The brilliant architect and terrified daughter and the woman crying in chapels. All of it. You barely know me. I know enough. I know you gave up dreams for family. I know you turned neighborhoods into communities. I know you're the strongest person I've met. And walking away would be the biggest mistake of my life. This is a terrible time to tell me you love me. But it's the truth. She kissed him, gentle, salt-tinged from tears, but real. I think I love you too. But I'm scared. Me too. But that's okay. Mr. Bennett stabilized on the fourth day. Not recovered, but the immediate crisis passed. 5 months later, on a brilliant August morning, Lincoln Community Park reopened. The transformation was staggering. Vibrant colors replaced rust and graffiti. New playground with shade structures. Splash pad sparkling. Basketball court with fresh paint. Functional bathrooms. But Amora was proudest of the community garden. 20 raised beds, each assigned to neighborhood families. Already vegetables were growing. The opening drew hundreds. After speeches, Amora was called to the podium. This park isn't my achievement. It's ours. Every person here contributed. Good design doesn't impose itself. It emerges from listening and giving people tools to build it themselves. A 6-year-old hugged her legs. Thank you for making the park pretty. That evening, walking through the park at sunset, Ethan pulled out a small box. Keys. Your new office. 3rd floor at Inspire. Melissa's making you senior designer. Your own team, your own projects. Did you? I did nothing except tell Melissa she'd be crazy not to promote you. This park is why. Amora looked at the keys, then at him. Move in with me. What? My apartment's tiny and in Inglewood, not Bel Air. Parking's terrible. But move in anyway. I love you. You love me. We're together every night anyway. I'm tired of pretending we're taking this slow. You want me to move from a mansion to a 1-bedroom in Inglewood? Yes. He laughed. Okay, I'll move in. They stood in the park she'd built, in her neighborhood, holding each other as stars appeared. Building a life. The next year was chaos and joy. Ethan sold his Bel Air mansion for $32 million, donating half to the Amora Bennett Cole Foundation they'd officially established, supporting talented individuals from underserved communities derailed by circumstance. They called it the Wrong Door Scholarship. With the other half, they purchased a 1920s Spanish-style house in Silver Lake with high ceilings, original tile, a central courtyard. Space to host community meetings and dinners without ostentation. Moving in together was an adjustment, arguments about kitchen organization, whether 7 coffee-making devices was excessive. But they also laughed more than either had in years. They cooked together, hosted dinners, made the house feel alive. Amora's career flourished. She led projects across LA, community centers, library renovations, mixed-use developments integrating affordable housing. Her approach, deep community engagement with technical excellence, became her signature. At 27, she was named 30 under 30 in urban design. Ethan restructured his entire professional life. Cole Capital became Cole Impact Partners, only investing in ventures demonstrably improving social outcomes. The fund was smaller but more focused. Returns were good. Ethical investing didn't mean bad business. But the biggest change was happiness. Real happiness. Not performative luxury, but deep contentment of purpose and connection. They fought sometimes, about money, time, future plans. But they fought fair, apologized genuinely, learned from conflicts. When Amora's recovering father met Ethan, he'd asked, "You treating her right?" "I'm trying to, sir." "Trying's not enough." "You're right. I am. She deserves nothing less." Mr. Bennett had nodded. All right then. 18 months after the park opened, on a cool November evening, Ethan took Amora back to Lincoln Community Park. "Why are we here?" she asked. "I wanted to see where it all started. Not where we met, but where you became who you are now." They walked to the community garden. Ethan stopped, looking out. "Amora, remember that first night? You said you felt like the person who dreamed of changing neighborhoods had slipped away." She nodded. "Do you still feel that way?" She looked around, at artwork on walls, at garden beds maintained by neighbors, at kids playing basketball. "No. I became her. A different version, with more scars, but her. Good. Ethan dropped to one knee. From his pocket, he pulled a small box. Inside, a simple platinum band with a single sapphire. Amara Bennett, you walked into my life through an accident and became the only right thing in it. You've taught me what matters, what love means. You've made me better just by being yourself. Will you marry me? Not because I need saving you never needed that. But because I want to build a life with you. Because I want 50 more years of waking up beside you. Because I love you completely. You prepared that speech. I've been practicing for weeks. It was good. Yes, Ethan. Of course it's yes. He stood, slipped the ring on, and kissed her while rain started to fall. 6 months later, they married in the courtyard of Amara's childhood apartment building in Crenshaw. Colorful streamers hung from electrical wires. Folding chairs in a semicircle. Potluck instead of catering. Tamales from Maria, rice and beans from Mrs. Bennett, fried chicken, pasta salad. Amara wore a simple white dress with lace shoulders and wildflowers in her goddess locks. Ethan wore a beige suit, no tie. The courtyard was filled with community, Raymond, Maria, teenagers from the park, colleagues, families who'd watched Amara grow up. Ethan's world mixed with hers beautifully. Reverend Johnson officiated. Love isn't finding someone perfect. It's seeing imperfections and choosing them anyway. Amara's vows. Ethan, you walked into my room by mistake, and I thought my life was over. Instead, you saw me when I'd been invisible. You didn't save me, you reminded me I could save myself. I promised to build with you, be honest with you, love you through hard days. I promised to be your partner, your equal. And no matter how big our lives get, I'll never forget where we started. Ethan's vows. Amara, I had everything and nothing that mattered. Then I opened the wrong door and found you. You taught me what wealth really means, not bank accounts, but connection, purpose, love. You transformed my life. I promised to keep learning, keep growing, keep choosing you every day. And that door I walked through will always be the most important step I ever took. The party lasted until midnight. Dancing, laughter, worlds mingling. Late in the evening, alone in a corner, they watched their celebration. This is perfect, Amara said. It really is. You walked through the wrong door. Best mistake I ever made. 5 years later. Sunday morning in Silver Lake was beautiful chaos. Ethan made pancakes while preventing their 3-year-old daughter, Maya, from dumping the entire bag of flour. Daddy, I'm helping. You are, baby. He glanced at Amara, holding their 6-month-old son, Isaiah. Help. Amara laughed. You said you had this. Their house reflected their life, comfortable but not ostentatious. Toys scattered across floors. Children's artwork beside professional renderings. Photographs everywhere, wedding, park opening, Maya's birth, family dinners. Amara was now a partner at Inspire Urban Design, leading large-scale projects across California. Her TED Talk on architecture as social justice had millions of views. But she measured success in simpler terms, the grandmother thanking her for the new community center, the teenager saying her library had been his refuge. Ethan had transformed Cole Impact Partners into one of the most respected impact investment funds in the country. The Cole Bennett Foundation supported hundreds of young people through Wrong Door scholarships. After breakfast, they drove to Lincoln Community Park, a monthly tradition. The park was thriving. Raymond, now in his 70s, was still there sweeping. Miss Amara. And the babies. They walked through the park, Ethan pushing Maya on swings, Amara with Isaiah, watching families play. What are you thinking about? Ethan asked, sitting beside her. How different my life is from what I imagined. Better or worse? Different. Better in ways I never expected. Maya ran up, breathless. Mama, can we live at the park? We can't live at the park, baby. Why not? It's the best place. Amara and Ethan smiled at each other. You're right, Amara said. It is the best place. But we share it with everyone. Okay, but we can come back. We can always come back. That evening, after children were in bed, they sat on their patio under string lights. I've been thinking, Ethan said. We should write a book about our story. Who would read that? People who need to hear that life can change in an instant. That giving up isn't the end. That love comes from unexpected places. That success isn't what you have, but what you build and who you build it with. They sat in comfortable silence, hands linked, watching stars appear. You know what I realized? Amara said. That night you walked into my room, you called it the wrong door. But it wasn't. It was exactly the right door. I know it now. Me too. Inside, Maya sang to herself, a made-up song about parks and pancakes. Isaiah slept quietly. Their life was messy and beautiful and nothing like either had imagined. But it was theirs. Built on honesty, respect, love, and vulnerability. I love you, Ethan said. I love you too. In the warm California night, surrounded by the life they'd built, that was enough. That was everything. The wrong door had led them home. Sometimes the wrong turn leads us exactly where we need to be. Ethan and Amara's story reminds us that love can bloom in the most unexpected places, and that true wealth isn't measured in what we have, but in who we choose to build our lives with. If this story touched your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe to Tales by Shaldra for more beautiful love stories that inspire, heal, and remind us of what truly matters. Drop a comment below and tell me, do you believe in destiny, or do you think we create our own fate? Until next time, keep believing in love, keep opening doors, and remember, sometimes the best things in life come from the mistakes we make along the way. This is Tales by Shaldra, and I'll see you in the next story.